Hi, good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whenever it is that you're checking this out. Welcome to Body, Mind, Spirit with me. I'm Jane, and you may notice that I'm not at the hub. So I'm going to give everyone a moment to tune in. So hopefully everyone's doing well. It's not the eve. It's December 30th, right? Okay, yeah. Like it's not New Year's Eve yet, right? I know. So as you hop on, if you want to say hey, so I know that you're here, I'm really hoping that everybody that is at the hub is going to be able to tune in. I wanted to go and I'd been feeling under the weather, and I went to bed last night at like 8, and I was like, I'm going to feel so much better. And yeah, so I woke up this morning at 8 and I was just still a little coughing. So hey, good morning, Sylvia. How are you on this now? How are you? How are you? Um, so I thought I'd be able to make it in, but I didn't want to get anyone. I don't think I'm contagious. Like I don't have a fever. Um, and I was like, I would feel like such a turd if anybody got sick today. You know, like I mean, any day. Like I don't want to get anybody sick. I don't think I'm contagious though. I really don't. And people have like immune stuff, right? Hey, good morning, Mama Jane. How are you? Doing well, Sylvia? How are y'all doing today? How are you feeling? I feel like my voice sounds weird because like I haven't really been coughing, but I've been like doing that. And so like the situation is like I'm irritated. So I'm gonna drink some water. So y'all, this is the last body, mind, spirit before 2022. Whoa, excited. Um, I thought there was something, but it's on my actual computer screen. um, anyway, oh, it's the last one. I don't even know what next year is going to hold. I don't think any of us know what next year is going to hold, but I'm excited about it nonetheless. I'm glad you're feeling good, Mama Jane. Um, how are you feeling, Sylvia? Or was that the answer? Was you said great, and that was your answer when I said how are you? Probably. Um, so I'm really hoping that people at the hub can tune in because I was really hoping to see everybody today and give hugs and um, so yeah. Um, anyway, so check this. Um, I in the mornings I have my routine. I get up, I meditate. I It's not too cold outside. I step outside and just kind of greet the day with some fresh air. Um, I do some breath work, some meditation, and I would say like 99.99999% of the time I draw some type of oracle card. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. I'm already healed. Thanks. I feel much better. I feel really good. Um, I'm just tired. I don't normally sleep 12 hours and then nap in the daytime. I don't normally do that. But I'm honoring it. I'm honoring it and saying, okay, apparently I need this rest. But this is the time when like I can rest. So thanks, y'all. So I draw an oracle card, right, every morning, and then the text that goes with it is just usually really powerful, and it gives me something to contemplate in that now and then the rest of the day, and it just kind of holds me into the rest of the day. Gives me guidance, right? Otherwise, I'm flailing about thinking that every day it's just joy. I'm just going to focus on joy today. Yeah, sometimes I don't need to focus on joy. Apparently, today I need to focus on power. But I wanted to share this because it said something that I thought was really pertinent, and it kind of ties into all of this. So check this out first of all, just because it's just pretty. Look at that. Oh, look, you can see the reflection of everything here. I'll try to get that off. Isn't that just beautiful? I love it. Anyway, so check this. I'm not going to read the whole thing because ain't nobody got the time for that. I mean, we actually do have time for that, but I don't want to read it. It's not. Anyway, um, but check this. It talks about the body, the mind, and the spirit. And this is what I want to dive into because I think that now's this time of year where like we're looking back at all that we've done. And if anybody makes New Year's resolutions, which I don't, because I no. But I do have like goals, and intentions and desires and vision boardy kind of stuff. So this talks about power of the spiritual, the power of the physical, and the power of the psychology and emotional, right? Body, mind, spirit. And it says that, um, first of all, power. Can I just say that I want to go into the new year with like as much power as I can? And I realized that um, I have a preconceived notion around people in power because when we look at people in power, like our government and whatever, they don't seem to actually care. They don't seem to fully love. They don't express love. They're not. They abuse power, right? A lot of people who have power, who are in places of power, abuse it, and they abuse others in that, right? And so I'm trying to really reframe. I'm not trying, I am. I'm reframing my relationship with this word power. So check this. It says, spiritual power enables you to trust in your higher guidance no matter what appears to be happening in your life. Psychological and emotional power enables you to transform through evolving your belief systems and processing your emotions through which you gain wisdom. Physical power gives you the strength to take action on the matters that serve your life path. And it says this gift of power is safe for you to receive because you'll use it to fulfill your divine destiny, which in turn supports all beings. Can we talk about this? Because just thinking about like moving into this new year in a place of like for real, like body, mind, spirit, power, empowerment. Like if I am truly empowered, I am standing in all of the power that I am, right? Hey, Roberta. Um, and then if I'm actually standing in power, like Jane's power, my intention is to make it a power from like love, right, and not like coercion. I want it to be from a power of peace and clarity, and not like bullying, right? Um, but I want to talk about first of all the psychological and emotional powers. So this would be the mind, right? So body, mind, spirit. The mind, that's the psychology, that's the emotional stuff. Oh, I needed that shadow there. But I have two windows, like here and here, and so I was trying to get the lighting so that it didn't look weird. So sorry if it's. I mean, I'm not like, oh, sorry. I'm just acknowledging that the lighting may be not the best, and I want to hear from y'all, by the way. So like any tips, tidbits, reflections on this power, I'd like to do this. So check this, right? So body, mind, spirit, start off with the mind. Um, so the psychological and emotional power, hey Charles, so psychological and emotional power enables you to transform through evolving your belief systems and processing your emotions through which you gain wisdom. I want to talk about the processing our emotions first and the power that takes. So this morning, and I'll get into it later, on the creative time. If you're going to tune in, just a funny story. I highly encourage you to tune in at 11:30. Anyway, so this morning, I got to process this really big wave of an emotion. I broke something. And it was really funny because it's not funny at all, but it is because it's life, right? It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So I broke a thing, um, and the first sound that came out of my mouth was ha. And then I just sat there and I took a big breath in, and then I had tears in my eyeballs. And I was like, and I just sat there with it. And then I was like, okay. And then I noticed that like it took a minute and then the tears stopped. Like it wasn't like weeping, but like I noticed they got all wet. And which if I were weeping, that would have been fine as well. But I realized that like I felt in the blink of an eye, I felt frustration, I felt sadness, I felt disappointment, I felt judgment. I felt all these things at the same time. And I allowed myself to be with it and to just like let it process. And it processed through a laugh and some tears and some breathing. And then cleaning up a little bit of a mess. Um, but that it says, processing your emotions basically is where you gain wisdom. I don't know about y'all, but like I think I would like to move into the new year with more wisdom. And if I can do that through the means of like, I don't know, processing emotions, I'm down with that. Because I've read so many books. I study so much. If I can gain wisdom through just being with my emotions, that means that I'm like legit becoming more wise by the moment. I don't have to have a library card. I don't have to have a subscription to something or another, whatever. Like that we gain wisdom by processing our emotions. Like how do you feel like you can gain wisdom through processing an emotion? I'm curious. I would like response. Like how do you think and how do you feel that you can gain more wisdom through processing emotions? I think that right there just opens up a whole doorway or a whole bunch of doorways for me to like explore. It's like, well, wait, if I feel anger, then I can actually become more wise, and not if I'm like projecting it and like whatever, but actually like just feeling it that I become more wise. I think wisdom is being able to move agilely, agile with agility. Words. I think being wise is being able to move with agility through any given now, right? To be able to be fluid and like juke when you need to juke and be able to offer information and be able to hold back and to be a witness, to be able to be of service and to be able to like to me that's wisdom, you know, to be able to listen, to be able to hear, to be able to share, to be able to be present. And if I can't be with my emotions and like let them for real process, then can't I can't be all of those things for anyone else. It's like you just can't do that. So I really like that they mentioned that emotional power, talking about emotional power is processing your emotions, which you gain wisdom. And then psychological power. And these are combined here. Like I don't want to separate emotional power from psychological power because they're like a DNA strand. Like you really don't want to separate that. Like you really want them to be together. Um, but I'm doing it just in this conversation. So psychological power enables you to transform through evolving your belief systems. That's huge. It's so funny how if anyone studies anything, if you study anything, like from gardening to how to paint a pine cone to making music, I don't know, if you study anything, math, whatever, you're taking a space where there wasn't information and you're putting information in, right? And then we live from that place and we create beliefs around it. But we don't want to stop learning, right? Like we still want to take on new information. We want to learn more things, whether it's the same topic or a different topic. Now, what if you're studying gardening, right? And everything that you've read says that you need to use glyphosate or Roundup or some chemical, right? Because these chemicals work and they're proven to do exactly what they do, you know? And so you've been using it in your garden, right? You've been using all these chemicals in your garden, making the biggest tomatoes, and you're making just like all your like super abundant crops. And then through your studies, because you're not done studying, then you start reading up on gardening and how organic, for example, or not using, I'm going to use the word chemicals, even though everything technically is a chemical, but you get it. Using a chemical, although it yields, bigger results in the cropland and fewer bugs to contend with, it also creates things like cancer or autistic expressions or cognitive delay or endocrine disrupting system fail. Good things, but not really good. Anyway, and then so you just got more knowledge, right? You legit just got more knowledge, but now it's going to go into your belief. And it's going to maybe like hurt your feelings because you're like, oh crap, basket, I've been eating this or I've been giving this food away. I've been selling this food and I didn't realize that it actually maybe has been causing harm. So what a lot of people do is they don't take the new belief. They don't take the new knowledge in. They can't take the new knowledge in that says, hey, not using chemicals is better. Because they had studied one way that says using chemicals is good. So I've been doing that so long and I've been telling others to do it too. So now they're telling me to not use chemicals. And that actually feels like that makes more sense, but I can't handle that, right? That creates cognitive dissonance. So I can't handle that. So now I don't change my belief. I stick my heels into the ground because I can't handle the emotions that it brought up with the cognitive dissonance, right? Those feelings of like, oh crap, maybe I've hurt someone, maybe I've hurt myself. I didn't know it all, right? Because apparently we're supposed to know it all, and none of us know it all. Nobody knows it all. We all think we do though. And we all know what we all know. Like I know all that I know, and I know all that I know, but I damn sure know that I don't know it all. Anyway, so being able to take a belief and not saying that anyone's belief, I'm just going to take it on and whatever, but to be able to recognize that there are other beliefs out there and to look at them, like to look at them with an open heart and an open mind, y'all, we legit start to gain so much personal power when we do that. We start to psychologically empower ourselves because then I can start to see, first of all, other people's perspectives, which as soon as we do that, we start to become more compassionate world. And like, I don't know, that leads to world peace. So I think that's pretty cool. But like we, to be able to be fluid in our beliefs, right? To be open to other beliefs. Not saying to not believe what you believe, like at all. And to be able to, I want to read what you're going to share, Charles. To, what does she say? Evolve your belief systems. That to me is saying, okay, so like, say I call, I don't want to get into that example. Evolving your belief system, evolving is just growing. It's not saying that, no, you have to turn left and then now you have to turn right because that's the only right way. It would be the right way if you turn right. Anyway. But it's being able to evolve our belief systems. When we evolve our belief, if we never evolved our belief systems, we wouldn't have the internet. We wouldn't have, microchips that can be implanted in your skin and scanned. It's proof. Creepy. If we didn't have evolving belief systems, we would still be putting leeches on people to cure them. Right? Like to evolve our belief systems is such a cool thing. But how many times do we get a belief and we get told it by someone in and and we take that on as the one and only truth, we stop evolving. We stop opening up to what's the next idea, what's the next potential. And I can still believe that leeches are the best plan ever. But if I'm not open to the idea that there may be some other options, I'm still going to use leeches. I'm not going to use leeches, just so everybody know. Leeches are weird. Like, for real. Can we just go there for a minute? I can't imagine. And like, what do leeches even eat in real life if they're not stuck to a human? Anyway, Charles says, I'm not sure. What are you not sure about? I can experience the same emotion, good or bad, sad or happy, hate or love, over and over again through the timelines and still have the same feelings. I'm still sad and I feel grief when I think about my parents passing, and I still feel joy and gratitude when I think about broken strings. I'm not sure how that relates to wisdom and knowledge. Oh, okay, so like this. So this one time someone cheated on me, and I didn't realize that I was still holding so much judgment over them and myself for years and years and years and years. Until one day I was sitting in meditation and it came up and I could feel it in my body. I could feel that I was still holding judgment. Sad and happy, those aren't the emotions that I'm talking about. I'm talking like judgment, fear, stagnation, right? Those types of things. Being able to process those, that's where we lead to like great wisdom. Like, of course, we're going to feel sad, we're going to feel happy, we're going to feel love, and probably not going to feel hate. Like if somebody's feeling hate, like that's usually a fear base or a judgment base, and so that's the root of that. I'm so glad you brought this up. But the wisdom comes from being able to say to me in this example, hey, okay, so I was still holding judgment on them and I can feel it in my body. I can feel how it's tightening up my neck. I can feel how it's creating my blood pressure to rise. I am still holding judgment on them for doing that to me, which is such a victim consciousness. It is. And I was still judging me, right? Because I'm a victim. And how could I have let that happen? How could I? How could I? Why didn't I? To be able to let go of that judgment starts to evolve my emotional body. It allows me to grow in an emotionally mature way so that I can be more wise and move through life experiences. One, also have better discernment antenna to not move into relationships where that would happen again. And then I'm also going to be more emotionally mature so that, when I do feel, say, that feeling again, I'm going to be able to pick up on it faster in my body or my emotional body, and I'll be able to like process it and like navigate and be agile and move into a different path. So glad you asked that. Thank you. Yeah, it's not like, yeah, people, and people still, like, people don't process grief, people don't process joy. People displace it or they shove it down. And that's usually out of fear. Well, then that's the actual, that right there, the fear is the emotion that we want to get to. It's not the upper level emotions, like those just move through us, but not for some. Some are told not to. So I think it depends on where that emotional maturity is. You look at a kid and they're just processing everything in the now, right? And it's not that they're emotionally immature, they're just emotionally open. And they're not emotionally mature according to what we think. I need a water. I'm glad you brought that up. That was funny, made a sound. So we've talked about psychological and emotional, so that's the mind, right? And the power of that to be able to transform through evolving your belief systems and processing your emotions through which you gain wisdom. I just think that's brilliant. Go into the body, right? Let's dive into the body. Physical power gives you the strength to take action on the matters that serve your life path. And we know this, right? Like, it's interesting because I've been taking this week really physically easy. Like, I've been napping a lot and just actually restoring and rejuvenating and clearing and cleansing and just letting my body come to true rest in many ways. And it's interesting because I'm balancing the recognition that there's power to that for me, because I'm one that's just go, 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 go. which isn't necessarily always the best. And I thought something was on my computer, but it wasn't. Anyway, but physical power, like to be able to have strength to just take a step on our path. Like it takes courage to like walk out the door. It takes really big courage to like leave a relationship or leave a job or step into a new job, step into a new school, step into a new city, make a decision to sell a house, buy a home, buy a car, sell a car, to make a lifestyle change in the very physical world. Man, that's not easy. That takes some big physical strength. It takes big mental strength and big emotional strength and spiritual strength. Like, I get that. And when it comes down to it, it's my body that has to walk through the door. And that is the strength. Like, I can want to go on a vacation all day. I can have my spirit ready. I can have everything planned out. I can have I could have like planned the travel, the transport, where I'm eating, who I'm visiting. I can have it all down. I could have envisioned it. But unless I put my shoes on and walk out the door, I don't go anywhere. Right? And then what am I even doing? So I think the physical power really, for me, and I'm curious what you all think about like physical power in this. She says physical power gives you the strength to take action on the matters that serve your life path, especially if we're talking about getting your spiritual power and your emotion and the body, the spirit and the mind power activated. Like the body is just going to kind of follow suit. In its courageous nature. But it's like, to me, that's one of the hardest things. For me, it's taken more physical power this week to stay home. It took a lot of me processing through a lot of stuff for me to even like call PRN to say, hey, like I physically don't think it's the best decision for me to go to the hub today. I thought I'm going to be disappointing people. And I was like, well, that's really egoic now, isn't it? And then I thought they're going to be mad at me. And I was like, no, they're not. Like PRN, everybody's loving. Like, hello. But it was just really interesting. So for me, the physical step was to make the call and to stay home. Anyway. Last but not least on this power. So it says spiritual power enables you to trust in your higher guidance, no matter what happens to be happening in your life. That right there. Can we please take that into the new year where we all are like legit connected with our own sovereign spiritual power? And I say sovereign, meaning the autonomous like recognition that I am spirit. I am a spirit. I have a soul. I am a soul. My soul is with me. My soul is in me. I am the soul that I am. Like recognizing that and being able to walk into the new year with that, man, to me that'd be a game changer for the new year. Like huge game changer for the new year. Because then I'm going to be able to like talks about trusting your inner guide, your higher guidance. I am so over, this is just me. I'm so over so many people taking what others are saying, hating it, and abiding by it. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. It brings me down. Okay, I'll do it. It causes me stress. It causes me anxiety. That feels bad in my heart. It doesn't feel in alignment. Okay, I'll do it anyway. Like, to me, that's like what happened, like, Nazi style. I mean, it doesn't feel good that they're having to wear stars on their sleeves, but I mean, okay. Like, to me, like what's the difference? And I see this in so many ways. Oh, you mean I don't like the way my children are being treated in the public school system, but I mean, oh well, I'll just go do it anyway. I'll keep drugging my children because they're having anxiety because they're taught to regurgitate information much more constricted than the way I was taught. But I'm going to make it better for them by putting them through a system that is worse than the one that I went through. Like, to me, that's not listening to our own spiritual guidance. The guidance that says, hey, this is not in the good for life on earth. This isn't good for your health. This isn't good for the health of your children. Like, to me, like, that's where I want to, like, live an empowered life, to where, like, I'm listening to my guidance, my spiritual guidance. I always go to love. Doesn't mean I always hear it, because sometimes I still may be hearing frustration or fear or whatever. But like that, like being able to go into like that such deep connection with love, this love that is everything, this gravity of love that we're always wanting to be a part of, to connect with that and then follow that, right? Be attracted to that and make relationships from that place and perspective. Like, let's go into the new year. Like, can we just like all do that? Can we all just go into 2022 with like, okay, you know what? Let's let's just follow our own spiritual guidance now, shall we? And I get like not everybody knows what that even looks like, right? Because they're too busy in the mind. They're too weighed down by the body. It just is. Like that's our human condition. We've been taught to focus solely on the body. We're taught that we don't know anything. We're taught that our mind is faulty. And because we're taught that our mind is faulty, then they can drug us to keep our body doing whatever it is that they want to do. And told us that spirit is only something accessible through other means outside of ourselves. The spirit is something outside of ourselves, that God is something outside of ourselves. It is us. Like, nothing separates anything. We're all a bunch of atoms. Just a bunch of atoms floating around. Anyway, got on a little soapbox right there. But that's what I want. Like, that's really what I want for this new year, right? Where we can follow our own higher guidance. Then you have like what, accountability and responsibility. When you do that, that's a whole other ball game to talk about, because then that's going to bring up stuff for the psychological aspect and the emotional aspect, right? If I'm following my own inner guidance and I tell everybody, hey, let's all turn left, and we turn left because that's what I was called to do. I was like, okay, I just felt into it and I felt left. Okay, we all turn left. There's a detour. Now we're stuck in traffic. It's like, well, you're supposed to be stuck in traffic together. But we will follow spirit and judge the outcome. I don't want to judge the outcome anymore. So anyway, so about this power, do y'all have any things or ways that you can expand your physical power? Maybe that means resting, or maybe that means lifting weights, going swimming, going for a walk, gymnastics. I don't know. Are there ways that you can expand your mental and emotional power? Like, how can you expand that power? Like the power of your mind, the power of your emotions. Like, when we go into, like, that's another thing. Talk about the power of emotions. Like, they flood through us because we're humans. That's what we're made to do. But man, when we know how to like work with them and navigate life with them, then what we intentionally pour out, what we exude out and radiate out, that's a game changer, especially if it's something that feels good. Like, if I'm feeling good and like I'm navigating whatever's happening and I'm able to like exude love, it just feels good. Or joy or peace or presence or whatever. And then the last question to this is, how can you empower and expand your spirit? How can you like power up your spirit, your energy, your connection to something bigger. How can you? How can we? That's the question. These are the questions that I'd like to just drop into the ethers for the new year. That we can walk into a new year not feeling regret, not feeling judgment, not feeling like, oh, I should have done all of these things in 2021 or the past however many years. But to just like think about, how can I walk into 2022 with like more power, so that I can, you know, be an inspiration and not a bully, so I can not try to be coercive and controlling. And how can I still empower myself enough to walk through systems that are still like that? How can I be empowered enough in my body, mind, and spirit so that I can walk through systems and paradigms and realities where control and coercion are the name of the game? Anything is possible. I think we're all powerful, way beyond our imagination. It's a matter of remembering that, I think, and being brave enough to stand in those places of power and not be afraid to be the powerful body and to be the powerful mind and to be the powerful spirit that we are. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I think that's about it. Unless you all have anything that you would like to add. Ooh, yeah. Mama Jane says, focus on the needs of others and try to help them. This would power up my spirit knowing I have helped others. I've been sitting with that. I'm so glad you mentioned that. That has been coming up a lot lately for like around. And there's this thing about helping others. What if just your presence is what helps others? And not looking at people, not saying you look at people, saying we collectively look at others like they need help. Right? Like, they need help. Because if I look at anyone and say, they need help, I'm not accepting where they are. And then if I'm not in acceptance, then I'm literally in a mind, emotional energy field of judgment. It's interesting. It's really, and you have helped others. Your being is what helps others. Your presence helps others. Your laughter helps others. That's it. Your hugs help others. Like that's what helps others. And not because they need it, but we all need it. Let's see, she says there are many people that are lonely and just want someone to talk to. Yes, there are. There are. And that's where it takes the empowerment, the standing in the power and saying, hey, I'm alone, I'm lonely, I want to talk to somebody, and reaching out and calling, calling the warm line. Like calling the PRN warm line, right? That 833-390-7728. Yeah. That, like that people can do that. Like there are places and there are so many people that we can reach out to, but then we don't feel like we'll be too stuck into like the mind, right? Like, well, they don't answer, they won't answer. What if I'm a burden? What if, or we get into this like emotionally immature place, right? And we'll just be sitting in fear of calling. It's what we do. We human like that. It's great. It's really fun. And then we take all of that and we empower ourselves and may just be like saying, you know what? I don't care what my mind is saying. I don't care what my emotions are feeling, but I really want to reach out to someone and talk to someone, and just picking up the phone and calling. And then by that we'll start to empower the mind and the emotional realm and the spirit. So it's like everything works in hand with each other. I think that, I wanted to reach out to someone the other day, and I recognized that I was hesitating. And I sat with it and I'm like, why am I hesitating? And I legitimately thought, I don't want to be a burden. I thought, well, what if they answer, but then it takes them away from doing something fun that they were doing? And then what if they don't answer? Right? What if that's a no? Right? To me, that's a no. And I had to be with that and think, well, so I got to remind myself that I'm not a burden, that that's just a program, that's just conditioning and messages that I was told. Um, and if I can't take them away from doing something fun. If they choose to answer, they choose to answer. Like, duh, right? And okay, and then what if they don't answer? Well, then they're busy. It's okay. If I get a no, that's okay. They didn't answer. I was still okay. But I made the phone call. And that was one of the hard things, was just reaching out and reaching out. And I think that when we can really be with ourselves in reflection and ask ourselves, like, why am I hesitating right now? And like, be real with ourselves. Oh, because I have these really messed up beliefs. Huh, okay. Now what am I going to do about it? Am I going to beat myself up for having those beliefs? Am I going to change those beliefs, right? It goes back to what she says, evolving your belief systems. You transform through evolving your belief systems. If I had a belief, right, that I'm going to be a burden and no one wants to help me, or no one wants to and no one wants to, then I'm not ever going to reach out for help. And then I don't get the support I need. You know? Charles says the fifth agreement is to be skeptical, but learn to listen. To me, is being open and not judgmental, but not chasing every new whim or trend or program. You're never a burden. I know I'm not a burden, but it's just part of my upbringing and messages that I received as a child. Like, I know it, but it's just a subconscious program. It's what sticks in our brainstem. That's the evolving. Um, I don't I think we've talked about this. I want to like look up the definition of skeptical, because there's a difference between, to me, being skeptical through the lens of doubt and being open in a place of curiosity. So I'm curious what that, how Don Miguel Ruiz translates through that. And yeah, to learn and listen and to be open, not judgmental. And I don't think many people chase every new whim or trend or program, you know. Although, if you think about it, people do. Now that I think about it, they're doing it in the media right now. It's like, literally in the media right now, they're saying there's a variant of Covidicus that is so bad. It's so bad. I mean, it's spreading like wildfire and it's just deadly. And then they say you only have to quarantine for 5 days. And yeah, like, you go back to work. Now, if I'm chasing everything that the media is saying, I'm going to start to get real turned around with that one, because like, it literally is just like not making sense. The fourth blank. I don't know what the fourth blank is. I don't know what you're talking about on the fourth blank. But yeah, there's, I think that being able to be open, that's where we start to evolve our beliefs. You know, the fourth blank. Oh, is there a fourth blank on the Vax card? You said they have it all planned out now, don't they? So you get the next card, and the next card, and the next card. Ugh. It's a propaganda machine. Hey, but I am excited that Ghislaine Maxwell has been found guilty of trafficking. And if y'all don't know about the Ghislaine Maxwell case, I highly encourage you to check it out, because it's not in the mainstream media, so it's happening in reality. Talk about messing with some belief systems, especially when you hear about all the people that are tied to that. Woo. Anyway. May we walk into this new year like just having shit cleaned out. Like whatever it is we don't need, let it leave and let us be empowered in our bodies. Let us be empowered in our mind. Let us be empowered in our spirit. Let us be clear. Let us be peaceful. Let us be in love. Let us be in joy. Let us be united together as humans. And also let us be sovereign, independent, autonomous beings that are able to live in liberation, to live freely. To me, that just sounds like, I don't know, regular humaning. But apparently it's not. So, like, let us all, please, New Year's wish, move in that direction. Let's just be that direction. How about that? Let's not move in that direction. Let's be that direction. So that whatever it is that we be, people move toward that. That feels good. Okay. I'll leave it with this. Spiritual power enables you to trust in your higher guidance, no matter what appears to be happening in your life. Psychological and emotional power enables you to transform through evolving your belief systems and processing your emotions, through which you gain wisdom. Physical power gives you the strength to take action on the matters that serve your life path. And don't be afraid of pure power, pure aligned power. It's not the power of the systems that have been in control. It's a new frequency of power. It's a loving power. It's light. It's easy. I promise. So, oh, and this was Alana Fairchild, ALANA Fairchild. It's the Crystal Mandela Oracle book that I was reading from. So, boop. All right, my friends. I love you all so much. I hope that this new year is extremely fruitful and abundant in joy and love and peace and unity for all of us. I'll be on at 11:30 to do something creative, which will be around the New Year stuff, and I'll share the story about what broke that I mentioned at the top of the hour. It's a funny one. It's a hoot. Anyway, I love you all so much, and I will see you soon. Okay? Bye, y'all.